YouTube. And once I see this chat thingy confirm I'm live on YouTube. Welcome everyone. Oh, hello Igor, welcome. Yesterday, to me it was a surprise. They dropped the demo for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on Switch 2 and Xbox Series, and on Windows PC. The numbers are up on YouTube, so yeah, I don't think the chat thing's working. Yeah, so we're gonna be checking them out side by side here. We got like 30 minutes of gameplay. For sure, if you just want to see how it is, I'm pretty sure the demo of the game is on literally every platform. If you want to see for yourself firsthand how things go, the demo is on every platform. We're gonna go through 30 minutes of footage, and then after 30 minutes of footage, we'll play a little more of the demo itself on Switch. So until then, here we are with starting with the Nibelheim flashback. It'd be a more fair comparison. I don't have a Series S. It's an interesting. Wait, I don't hear them talking. Was I recording in surround sound? What about the Xbox gameplay? I'm not going crazy, right? Do you hear them speaking, chat? No? Oh my fucking god, I can't do anything right. How did I manage that one? Well, alright, I guess it'll be a quiet gameplay. It's old now, yeah. It must have been in surround sound. There's brightness issue too. No, there isn't. That just is how the Switch 2 version is. You might want to turn it down in-game, but no, that's not even an HDMI range issue. That's just how the Switch 2 version is. It's a little lighter. I did double check that. That made me double check it, but I didn't listen to the audio. No, the voices were on because I was listening to the voices as I was recording. We'll see when the screen fades to black, you'll see that it does go to like actual black on Switch 2. That's just how the Switch 2 version actually is. It's just a little lighter. The Xbox version is set to performance sharp. It has graphics, performance sharp, and performance soft. Both performance modes are up to 60. Not really consistent. They're up there, but every version of the game is on console. I don't think it's hitting 60 when you're in towns. Besides PS5 Pro. But yeah, what happened with the audio here is, I guess I was recording in surround sound. So essentially the voice channels where they were speaking on were outside of the two channels being recorded for stereo in the Elgato. I really don't know how that happened, because well, no, I guess now that I think about it, I didn't like look back at the recordings with headphones on. But yeah, the 30 FPS mode for Xbox Series, the game already does look fine, like between graphics and surround, or between graphics and performance. No matter what, there's kind of gonna be a little bit of blur to it. So it's just like, do you care about it's really about, is the feeling of the uncapped 60 enough? Or does the inconsistency of the 60 bother you or not? That's really what the question is. Doing a lot of heavy lifting, yeah. Compare Switch with quality mode. Because the only apt comparison for the Switch one to begin with would be the Steam Deck. You're gonna get a compromised experience no matter what if you're playing on Switch 2. So this was more just, I want to show you what you're gonna get at least on Xbox. But also, the fact is that even if I do this is not like close enough to really see any more of the differences that would otherwise be there. Like the difference between Xbox Series quality and Xbox Series graphics modes would not warrant recording it all again just to show this. Because they're much closer together. So yeah, look, the Switch 2 footage went completely black, so it's like, no, it just actually is lighter than that. And it's, as far as I understand, the Switch 2 version's gonna give you a better mobile experience than you would get on Steam Deck. At least out of the box, if I'm remembering right. I believe what I've read as well. Switch exclusive PS4 for reals than Series X. Well, there is no PS4 version of this game. But yeah, if you were to, also, if you turn up the audio like really, really carefully, don't do that. But you can hear the voices like really quiet underneath it. If they're like really quiet there. When that happens, that's usually a surround sound issue. So I gotta apologize for that. But I mean, at least it lets me talk over it. It's not the worst outcome, because at least I can talk over the footage proper without talking over any characters. And we still get plenty of ambience, and you still get the music to listen to. But yeah, you gotta accept like the concessions you're gonna get on Switch 2. Remake delivers a little more, but Remake in general does, in most circumstances, look better than Rebirth when it comes to like individual lighting moments. It pixelated in Switch 2. That was a pre-rendered cutscene. That cutscene was pre-rendered, so it went pixelated.
Then I stop on my mom's.
Oh.
Not that it matters.
All right. Well, the voices are back now.
I want to hear what happened.
Me too. Yeah.
On Xbox Series, I paused the recording because I was testing the other graphics modes. And then I unpaused the recording when I was settled on just continuing with performance sharp. So, good news, we got voices. Where's my cursor? Oh, the voices are back here too.
Then I stop on my mom's. Not that it matters.
Oh, maybe it's cutscenes only.
I know I want to hear what happened.
Me too.
I bet it's cutscenes only.
Yeah. Go on.
Honestly, that pixelation, I don't even know if that was that might have just been my recording, because that was so noticeable. Let me see here. Let me time this up. No, okay, it's a cutscene audio thing. Never mind. So anyway, continuing here. With the concessions of the Switch version, it's like, it's, some of it is just what you have to take between the two. Rebirth is Remake was significantly more deliberate in its lighting because of its smaller scale. And then even then, Rebirth Intergrade went over and redid all the lighting already. And had like a second lighting pass that made deliberate like improvements on what lighting. Oh, there's a lot of props missing. Notice that in the Switch version, you'll find like stuff missing within the rooms. I had a whole tree in the back, a plant in the background was missing. Yeah, I don't know what was with that random pixelization. The thing with Rebirth was that it felt like it was going to be a game that had real-time adjusting lighting. And from what I saw through some modded debug tools, there are options to change the lighting of every area in the game. You can change any area to be sunset, sunrise, night, or day. Like, the option for lighting in every single zone exists. But the game does not transition or use real-time lighting like that. It's baked, quote-unquote baked in it's static in every area. Every area of the game keeps static lighting. I think that maybe when we get to the third game, maybe the third game's gonna have more real-time stuff. But otherwise, that's just a weird, like, thing with Rebirth. This demo is 2 chapters, and that's a good, like, bit of gameplay to really get into it. The first chapter is the whole Nibelheim incident flashback, told in calm. But if you want to get a feel for the game, yeah, everything you need for it is there. Pause it a bit so we get synced up again. And with like how the Switch 2 version looks, I mean, the lighting differences here, the prop differences here, there's so many like extra background props you're gonna notice are missing in the Switch 2 version. Those aren't really big things that I was focusing on. I was more caught on like the performance. And it is not, when you're running around town, it is not maintaining 30. So I think it's going to be a good sign that in the Switch 2 version, if you're in any sort of like open town area, you're not going to maintain 30. The visuals, I think, are at least getting by enough in detail and sharpness. Yeah, so there was like already like I would have said it's small downgrade between 7 Remake and 7 Rebirth in general in fidelity. Just because Rebirth had to be an open world game and accommodate that in its lighting. And remember, it is also still Unreal 4. It's going to continue being Unreal 4 into the third game.
At the time, but looking back, all the signs were there.
And then the Switch 2 version of Remake and Switch 2 version of Rebirth are going to have a bit more of a noticeable gap. This is so annoying, the audio. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, chat. Definitely want to keep showing off here before I ramble about things personally. Well, let me see. I will give the Switch 2 version credit in that it's input latency is really low. For being locked to 30 FPS, it is very responsive. They did a good job with input latency on Switch 2 at least. So at least we got that. I agree. I think it was a good idea not to move to UE5. Not with like, it was more for like on the back end to where all the developers they've already have like everything set in stone for their structure and framework and development cycle and pipeline for UE4. And it's already a custom version of UE4 at this point, you know. They've already customized UE4 to fit their needs. So it's best not to just throw that all away for the UE5 benefits. Still perfectly capable of a lot. And of course, everything combat-wise. This game is one of my favorite action RPGs. Definitely out of especially out of Square. I've said before, it's the to me it's like the closest they've come to Kingdom Hearts 2. With like the stagger system, they throw it essentially turns into this what I would call a fun and engaging stagger system where it's a fun and engaging puzzle in team building and how you want to handle staggering all different types of enemies with so many ways to do so across enemies across the whole game, and how you want to utilize magic, like and how you want to utilize range, or do whatever the hell it was Kate Sith and Red do. It's washed out. I was gonna say, like, in comparison, it sticks out now. When I was playing it, I wasn't really noticing it like this. We'll look at it again. I'll look at the HDMI settings. I'll check the brightness setting on Switch 2 once we get to actual gameplay. And then we'll just, like, you know, confirm that that's just how it is. Because we've been through this before. It looks suspicious to me when it's like that.
Already know this, but our reactor's the first of
But you do see it when both games fade to black, they're fading to actual black. So it's not an HDMI color range thing. Unless something in the default brightness setting changes. No, that's just how they have the Switch 2 version.
Man, I wish I could go on trips all over the world like you guys.
Trips. I think you mean business trips, which are no fun at all.
Yeah, their workflow must be really streamlined.
Cool.
To especially with like, hell, that third game is soon. Now there's a ton of pop-in happening here on Switch 2 and there's already way less foliage. This specific angle is only in this credit sequence where it tilted up and now it's gonna zoom back in. So that was like the absolute worst you would ever see the pop-in. But this game does have a lot of like open landscapes once you get into the open world. So I can't say you would never not notice that because I noticed it when it came out on PC. Like if your like setting wasn't all the way up, you were gonna get pop in like that. It was really annoying.
Guess you really are the best there is.
Like if you look for it, it'll be on the Xbox version too. It's just that there's much more there by default as well. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like with the Switch 2 version, you're already taking a concession, and especially like if you're trading for portability. That's the other thing with this comparison is like I'm still doing it, but your benefit really would come down more to if you're gonna play the game portably, and in which case it's probably gonna get the job done regardless. There we go. Yeah, this game's got such good combat. Big fan of it. But I mean, you don't have to like even listen to my praise because yeah, anyone could download this demo. Really, just see for yourself. Though it's like a 50 gigabyte demo on Switch too, pretty good size. It's a 100 gigabyte demo on Xbox Series, so that might also have to do with it. The size comparison. In a vacuum, I'm a big fan of FF16's combat in a vacuum, but it is character action. It certainly it didn't get to flex its strengths. With like, there could be if I could describe like a triangle of gameplay between how enemies are designed and how player controls are designed, and then core mechanics. Where 16 definitely had the player mechanics all figured out, but the enemy designs weren't really as a strong suit. And then, to me, that triangle is much more balanced in 7 Rebirth, and Remake to a degree too, where enemies give you reason to... Enemy design warrants different ways of play. And team building, but that's not not a thing you have to worry about with 16 anyway. But yeah, anyone who's gonna get the game and play it, your save from this demo also transfers to the full thing too. I believe it's out in June for both these platforms, if I remember right. The demo came out yesterday. You got till June to do the first 2 chapters. Plenty of combat just to see how you feel about it. Which I'm always glad that there is a demo, so I can people can get the feel for themselves of how they interpret it and how they like it. Me taking my triple slashes. By the time I recorded the Switch version first, so then when I was on Xbox, I was more trying to reincorporate the shortcut buttons. Yeah, I was using the shortcuts for combat in the Xbox footage, so I get through things a little faster. This is my cursor here. Lean more into the DMC style with more weapon choices and fleshed out combo system. Yeah. Yeah, there was potential there.
Shall we pick up the pace?
It's absolutely have to.
Oh, we got a cutscene with voice acting in it.
Be so lucky next time.
That's interesting. I really don't know what's causing that.
Then, how about I go on ahead and clear the way for you guys? I'll be careful.
Wait, no, I was recording.
You'd better.
Recording this footage with my headphones on Xbox. I heard the voice acting in the Elgato software. I totally did. Yeah, I was on a call and streaming it, and I know I was playing with the headphones. I was hearing the audio. Huh. I don't know. Well, anyway. Yeah, and comparing like Switch footage is with any console versions almost like unfair. It would just have to be like, if I was more on point, I would have just forgotten like Steam Deck footage. I think that would have been more apt. But I don't know. How do people also feel about like the ROG Ally and stuff like that? Like, how many more of those options would have to start being accommodated? I was going through the settings because I was getting a little... something felt off. I was feeling like it wasn't auto-retargeting when the locked-on enemy was defeated. I was pretty sure it did that. When you defeat your locked-on enemy, it automatically locks onto the next one. Though I wasn't paying enough attention. Because like in my Switch 2 footage there, I'm not even locked on. Yet, yeah, no, I keep locking off the enemies. Now I'm locked on. The incorporation of air combat was cool too. Rewarding you for timing your blocking as well is always neat to see.
Gotta say, that one felt pretty good.
It's like an extra like risk reward benefit. Could be satisfying. Go up here and then we're told to go back. Yeah, no, that's still...
Rockslide took out the bridge a while ago. Come on back, okay?
Okay.
Well, okay, so I have two PCs here, right? The streaming PC has a different capture card in it. It has an AverMedia. The AverMedia may have been fine with the stereo audio. And then maybe it was the Elgato that had trouble with the surround sound. That's what it is, the surround sound. AverMedia didn't care about the surround sound, the Elgato lost it. When I was playing and hearing it back myself, I was hearing the AverMedia audio. I wasn't hearing the Elgato audio.
Our guide. Good thing I reconsidered. Otherwise, you'd have let us straight off a cliff.
So I don't know, maybe that's what it's related to. Yeah, there's just a lot less lights in general, like in the Switch 2 version. There's a lot that's like baked in. I think that it already has like a ton of money shots that work well for it. But yeah, when you look more closely and start comparing, things start sticking out. I don't know if we'll benefit from the zoomed out view if we want to see that for a little bit. Frame drops in the grassland in the Switch 2 version? No, the frame drops were in town with all the NPCs around. In Calm, it was dropped to 20. I'm not surprised. Because it was... In Calm there, it was... Well, no, we're not in Calm yet. In Nibelheim, it was already dropping on Switch 2 and Xbox performance. I don't know, I couldn't judge the frame pacing of Xbox graphics mode. It didn't even look like stable 30, but I should have like looked from the TV and not my capture to see that for sure. Here's your first check to make sure you know how the game's mechanics work. With Calm dropping to 20, that wouldn't be a surprise to me. It's like the first thing whenever I'm like testing the game on PC and trying to judge the game's PC performance, I'm going into Calm. I'm going into any of the towns. So yeah, I'm not entirely surprised that like, and I would say it's to be expected. Like any towns you go to, in Junon 2 is probably going to be the same case. If there's a lot of NPCs around, it's gonna drop in frame rate. When you're outside of towns, it's fine.
The reactor may have been around for a while, but there
On PC, that's like a...
Try not to breathe it in.
That's a CPU thing. Because all the characters on screen. But yeah, it's on all the platforms. And then this game's whole story with like on PlayStation is like I'm pretty sure if you have a PS5 Pro, you're good to go. the whole game was pretty blurry no matter how you played it on base PS5, and it was updated multiple times over time. So I was thinking about that, like, in terms of sharpness, the experience isn't that compromised on Switch. At the very least, the input latency is good, and I don't like the DualSense controller, but that's irrelevant. The very least, yeah, the input latency being so low on Switch at least helped it feel really good. Yeah, the only times, like, when Switch is dipping, it's dipping outside of combat. Look better on Series X than PS5. I'm not sure. I think it's something, I think it's rather similar. So this is where my gameplay stopped here. And then we'll cut over here now. And welcome to chat, everyone. Okay. Okay. But off the top of my head, I'm imagining it's, because I'm pretty sure they added those same graphics options to the PS5 version anyway. Where it's graphics, performance sharp, and performance smooth. I'm pretty sure it's visually really close to each other. And it's like less choppy than the graphics preset on PS5, or I'm going crazy. It's well paced. It is well paced. I'll say that. For PS5, I don't remember like the frame timing bother me. I just remember it was like always blurry. Like there was nothing you could really do about how blurry it was on PS5. Turning my mic over here. Just making sure I could still see chat from where I'm gonna be playing from. So yeah, let's go through for like another hour here. Audio should be fine now, but yeah, here we're on Switch. Let me see here, graphics. No, brightness is at 0. Let me check my HDR. I doubt it's on. Let me check my HDR. RGB full range. HDR off. No, that's just how the Switch version looks. Interesting. Performance was more Vaseline. Yeah. I mean, unless they updated that, and maybe I should have taken that footage. I'll explain why I really didn't in a minute here. Sorry, Xbox buttons. Come on, man. Oh yeah, no, maybe it was harder to tell when both things were back to back, but there is like...
Hey, I'm the guide here.
There was some like infrequent hitching during some cutscenes too. There's like a little stutter, almost like a shader compilation stutter. Where it just like happens for a brief moment. Or like a VRAM stutter. That would be more likely.
Tifa, are you okay?
Not really.
It's too low. There we go.
What are you?
Man, even here. I'll check my system audio settings after this cutscene too, actually. It'll just take it off surround sound. I'm pretty sure it's not even on surround sound. Damn. Yeah, first 2 hours is first 2 chapters is a pretty solid demo length for this game. I put like well over 100 hours using for Switch 2 Joy-Cons in the charge grip.
He's in Fate's hands now.
This is what I mean by like consider where you like feel I am, because I don't like the DualSense. And somehow for this, I prefer the Joy-Cons over the DualSense.
Following the river should get us back to the village.
We're not going to the village. Can you get us to the reactor?
Sorry, I don't think I can.
I kind of like the PS5 UI though. That's been growing on me at
We
least.
certainly
The
can't send you back
PS5
alone.
UI isn't as bad as
It'll be
I
safer with
felt
us.
it was.
Okay.
Got over it over time.
I'll be joining you up front this time. What? For your performance review.
You kidding me?
Good luck.
Go. Bench. Oh my god. Xbox controls. Well, not that. I saw the X and I pressed that like it was a PlayStation controller. Normally I don't do that, but when it is like the same games and yeah, 100 hours in one version over another. Oh yeah, these demos, these versions also offer, when you start them, they offer, starting the game with a head start bonus. The head start bonus, I don't know if it's the level 65, but it does start you already higher level with a bunch of equipment, I think materia. But the thing it was saying was like you already start with some armor and accessories. So for the regular playthrough, I don't think you should do that. But for me, revisiting and checking them out, I was thankful of that. Yeah, issue commands. Yep. God, I was gonna go with Cloud.
Bye.
Whoops. Meant to do focus slash.
More Mako gas ahead.
There's no way around it either. Just have to go.
I'll just live with Sephiroth.
Let's not waste any time.
Might as well take advantage of it, you know. You don't get any other time to do it
Hey,
till
that would
now.
go pretty good.
One thing I felt, and I don't know how other people will feel, is like, the game can be exhausting to 100% because it's so full of content. There's a lot of shit to do in it. You're gonna, like, you almost question the scale once you're out in the first area. And you're like, is every zone in the game gonna have this much shit to do in it? And then the answer is yes, actually. Like, it's crazy how much there is to do in this game. I still did it on my first playthrough. I had stopped, like, behind one thing that was a mini game. And what I would say there is the mini game I got stuck on with 100%ing was nerfed. So like not like that's relevant as much anymore either. But you can get burnt out on this game.
Spring.
It's beautiful.
On second playthrough, it goes by much smoother when you're not doing 100%ing.
Here, right?
Like if you're just going place to place to place,
Talking about.
the pacing of the game feels a bit better.
And the
But-
mirror, if you must know.
You do less things.
Except the planet's huge. Mako will never run out, right?
Naturally formed materia. And look at the size of it. Astounding. For the Mako energy to condense.
I will say also looking back about this game is
Eternity.
I've always wondered, how does materia let you cast spells exactly?
How did you ever get to be a soldier?
shrug.
To put it simply, the knowledge of the ancients is sealed within each orb. That knowledge not only connects us to the planet, it allows us to tap into her power. That's how we can use magic. Or so they say.
Really? Magic sure is weird.
I know someone who'd be livid to hear you call it weird, or magic for that matter. I can just imagine what he'd say. It's an affront to science.
Who?
Hojo from Research and Development. His predecessor was a great man, but him, he is anything but. We should press on.
Yeah, let me check the audio because I still feel like the voices are quieter than they should be. And I don't even, it's not an in-game option. Everything's maxed out in-game. I think it's a Switch setting. System virtual surround? Oh. When did this stuff get turned on? Headphone virtual surround? What the fuck? How did that shit get turned on? Alright, this might be loud when it comes back. Audio should be fixed now. But that's weird. I feel like those settings just turned themselves on. Let's see.
Who are you?
Piece of cake.
When this game came out and I didn't want to stream like the first like day of it or so, I waited until like I was halfway through the game to do a stream of it. And I really regretted doing that because the only people who were tuning into streams of it at that point were not people who were in the middle of playing it. Anyone who was in the middle of playing it was avoiding spoilers. So the only people that tuned into that stream were people that did not, were not even planning to get the game. So ergo, it was just the chat of people shitting on it. I was like, I've been having fun delving into this game for like, 40, 50 hours at that point. And then I streamed to gush about it, and nobody in the audience is feeling it because nobody in the audience is playing it. I should have streamed it day one, but even then, like, if you wanted to avoid spoilers, why would you be watching streams of it, you know? So, that was on me. Lesson learned there. Just try to, for the sake of me enjoying myself more, try to, stream things earlier.
Heads up.
I do not think the water looked like that before.
Gotta say, that one felt pretty good.
There we go. Yeah, as long as we're like this far in. I've been talking about like next port review I wanted to do is revisit FF7 vanilla, original rather. I got a bit of progress set up on that. Script laid out and some footage recorded, but I'm going pretty slow on it. It really is a matter of, I would say, not to go too much into everything personally going on. But again, the context is that we lost my mom at the beginning of the year. And I would say right now, I hate to say it, but a good like window of when I think things could return to normal for me is when the estate is closed. And that about sums it up right there, is we're waiting on, we gotta get the estate closed, and until then I'm probably gonna be inconsistent and not on top of my game at all. So just to like put that out there, I think for now that's like a good way of putting it. Anyone who's familiar with those kind of matters probably knows how it is. So, it is unfortunate here. Oh, nope, don't have it yet. Focus slash. Oh, I already have it. There we go. I think anyone, if you know, you know, like from there, I don't think I have to really delve into it too much more personally. So just got that going on. I think I should at least mention it because the channel revenue has surprisingly fallen. It was interesting. And I don't even think like that's it's purely like an algorithm thing, I'm pretty sure. But thankfully right now that's not a huge deal. Not an end of the world. More important things to tend to. But yeah, just to like put that out there and update on that. Yes, I think once the estate closed would be a good window of when I can really get things back on track. But yeah. Four years later, oh, it's not gonna be that long. That's I'm not surprised by that. Hopefully, dear God, hopefully it's not that long. Here's open. But it does move slowly. It does absolutely move slowly. So yeah. More Mako.
Elevator access restricted due to Mako gas concentrations. Air purification unit must be employed to clear excess Mako gas.
Make sure you open the gate. How's the Switch 2 port looking? You gotta take some compromises, but maybe about what you would expect. It's stable. It's stable outside of the towns. The input latency is really low, so I'll give it that. This game does end up a little blurry on like every platform. So that's why I give it a little more slack there.
Gas levels reduced by 70%.
I think, like, visually wise, it gets the job done. I appreciate, like, the optimizations they took. You can literally see them, which is, like, less props in areas, less lighting in general. The effort in optimization is present, and that's nice. And it's, to my understanding, it seems like a good mobile option. It might be the most ideal mobile option compared to, like, Steam Deck. But there is a demo out, so very, very much if anyone wants to see for themselves and give it a shot and see how they like it. There's a demo on, like, literally every platform for this game.
No local gas detected. Elevator access granted.
Here we go. Yeah, I'm doing my best to go one day at a time. I'm a little more active with Twitch streaming, but that's not really most eventful shit anyway. It is what it is, I guess, you know. Doing what I can. There we go. But yeah, for my